If a $20 or $30 sensor could flip your lights, lock your doors, pause the AC, and tell you when the mail arrives, or even when the kids are out of bed at night, you'd want to have them everywhere, right? Today, we're going to look at the Aqara P2 door and window sensor, everything that you can do with it. My name is Steve, and this is it-alchemy. I often say that sensors are a way to give your smart home a method to detect and react to changes in your physical environment. One of the most useful is a door and window sensor. Door and window sensors are contact sensors that work by detecting when the contact is broken from the base. Simply put, this lets you know when something is open or closed. Even though this seems like a simple thing, the amount of stuff that you can do with that information is pretty crazy. This is the Aqara P2 door and window sensor. It's a battery operated, matter over thread contact sensor. It tells your home whether something is open or closed. Could be a door, could be a window, a cabinet, and that tiny bit of information lets you build some surprisingly powerful automations. The setup is pretty simple. We'll take it out of the box and remove the plastic strip covering the battery. The device should power on and you'll see a little blue light on the front. Something to note here, the battery for this device should last a good long while depending on the usage, sometimes even a year or two. As with all battery enabled devices, we don't really know how long it sat in the warehouse or otherwise happened to it prior to purchase, so it's possible that you'll need a fresh battery. A Aqara door and window sensor uses a 3-volt CR123A battery or equivalent. These batteries can be picked up in pretty much any store in the battery section. Because the sensor uses matter over thread, you'll pair it with a matter controller and a thread border router. Think an Apple TV or a HomePod Mini, some Aero, Nest, or Google Hubs, or other thread-enabled hubs like Home Assistant. Once paired, it'll show up in your platform, be it Apple Home or Google Home or Alexa SmartThings or Home Assistant, and you can operate this device from there. Of course, I'll be using Home Assistant. My Home Assistant instance has a Matter server and Open Border Thread router integration installed, as well as a Connect ZB1 thread radio. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll open the Home Assistant companion app and we'll go to Settings and Devices and Add Integration. We'll click on Add Matter Device and then New Device. You can scan the QR code on the device itself or you can enter the pairing code. You'll notice that the QR code on this device is really small, so I would suggest using the pairing code or scanning the QR code on the documentation in the box. The installation is pretty simple. The device itself has two parts. It has the sensor and a smaller component that's the contact. I'll show a close-up of this, but there's a small line that indicates the correct alignment of each component. And each component has a sticky pad to adhere to the surface. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is determine where you're going to attach the sensor. The sensor itself should be on the non-moving part, such as the door frame or the wall, while the contact attaches to the moving part. Thoroughly clean the area with an alcohol wipe and let it dry. Then peel off the protective film of the adhesive pad on the back and attach it to the surface of the location. Do the same for the contact and ensure that the small line indicator of each are in alignment. You're going to want to make sure that the two components are just barely touching. Too much overlap and it may rub and get out of alignment, and too far of a distance and the sensor might not detect a closure. That's it. Now an event will be sent each time that the contact is broken. So you can see here, open, closed, open, closed. Open and close is a pretty simple concept, but it's the context that makes it smart. Where the sensor is located, when it changes, can all trigger different automations. You could even combine it with the states from other sensors for additional complexity. For example, say you had a sensor installed on the front door. You could send a notification to a smart speaker to announce front door open, front door closed whenever somebody comes in and out, and that's great, but it might get a little bit annoying. So maybe we add a time component into the automation and only announce it if it's late at night to indicate someone is sneaking out or breaking in. But how would that work if you're on vacation? An announcement isn't going to do much good then. So when combined with a presence sensor or geolocation states like from your watch or your phone, We can take it a little step further and we can check if the normal occupants are home. If the front door is open when everyone is gone, instead of announcing, an alert can be sent to your phone and tell the indoor cameras to start recording, set off alarms, or any combination thereof. You could also add duration-based logic into the automation to only trigger when something has been left open for a certain period of time. A great example of this is when I'm in a rush in the mornings, sometimes I forget to close the garage door. An automation can be set so that the garage door has been open for more than 5 minutes and I'm no longer detected at home, automatically close the garage door. This is great because it would only trigger when it's left open after I leave and not when I'm, say, out working in the garage or the yard and actually want the door to remain open. The amount of automations you can create with something as simple as a contact sensor are pretty extensive. They can range from simple singular triggers, such as turning on a light when the door opens, to more complex stateful triggers that utilize the time of day or input from other sensors or persistent variables like helpers, feature, and home assistant that can provide additional context for automation logic. As another example, say we create a toggle type helper in Home Assistant. This is a Boolean entity with two states, on and off. We'll name it night mode. A separate automation sets night mode on or off based on the time of day. In the automation involving our sensor, we can now check to see if it's night by checking to see if night mode is on or off. The automation for the sensor can behave differently, such as turning on a light only if night mode is enabled. That way you don't end up arbitrarily turning on random lights during the daytime when they're not needed. With that in mind, the number of automations and combinations involving a door or window sensor is pretty much up to your imagination, so here's a quick list of examples that I've compiled. Things like entry lights, when the front door opens at night, the foyer and hall light could come on. Or closet lights, where every time the closet door opens, the light comes on, and then when you close it, after 30 seconds, it'll shut off. You could also use it for pantry task lighting, where the undershelf LEDs open or close whenever the door does. For climate, say, for example, when any window opens, you can pause the AC or the heat and resume when the windows are closed. Or fireplaces, when the door opens, you can turn off central heat in that zone. You can even do a garage seal check where the door that goes from the garage to the house is open for more than a couple of minutes. You can alert and notify. You can even build out your own do-it-yourself security system. So when the door opens, you can trigger an alarm. You can do push notifications to your phone. You can set the indoor cameras to record. Any night after 11 p.m. when the windows are open, then you can trigger alarms or really anything thereof. For smart locks on your front door, you can have it set to automatically rearm after 20 seconds if people are home or after only 2 seconds if people are away. You can even have it set up where if it's me personally that's coming into the door, you can automatically set the lighting to a preset that I prefer. You can turn on music and do all kinds of things. You can add them to your mailbox. So when the mail is delivered every day, that first open and close can add a content card to your Home Assistant dashboard that says mail is available for pickup or mail's been delivered. And a subsequent open and close of that can then clear that card off. Another fun thing that you can do is if you have a automatic pet gate or a doggy door, when the gate opens, you can turn the outdoor cameras on. If it's nighttime, you can turn the outdoor lights on. You can even switch the dashboard to show a card that says that the pet's outside and alert you if the pet has been outside for a really long time. Maybe they're fighting an animal or doing their business or otherwise preoccupied with squirrels. All in all, the Aqara P2 door and window sensor is a simple but versatile device that can be used for all kinds of things. Something to remember is to make sure that you name the sensor according to the location and to also check the battery percentage annually. Home Assistant has an entity that displays the battery type and the percentage remaining to make that a little bit easier. Maybe you can even build an automation to notify you when the battery needs to be replaced. As always, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more smart home content. And let me know in the comments if you have any cool door or window sensor uses. Thanks for watching.